Hi folks, welcome to 4x4 Viewfinder. It's wonderful to have you here. Today we are going to do a headlight restoration, but it's not as much a headlight restoration as it is just the cleaning up. But this is an amazing kit. I think it's about 250 bucks for this. You can get it at Builders Warehouse, Midas, any of those places. And it actually does a wonderful job. I've been using this since I found out, a couple of years back, since I found out about this and gave it a bash. And yeah, I've never been disappointed. Look, if your headlights are milky or starting to turn yellow at the top, it's going to be hard work to get it nice. There's no quick way. The toothpaste and other type thing that I've heard people use, that doesn't really work. It just basically takes away a little bit. It does a quarter of the job that you're supposed to do to get it looking nice, if I can put it that way. So this is not a bad price. I've had this kit now for almost 3 years, I think. I've used it on at least 3 vehicles, and yeah, I swear by this. So yeah folks, let's get into what is in the kit and how this thing works. Alright folks, so let's first get into what you get in the kit. In the kit you get this little handle type thingy. You get your sandpaper. This is 1200 grit. You can buy these loose as well. You also get some masking tape. You get your Clearview plastic cleaner and polisher. You get your little polishing pad, and you get a little rag like this. It's not really instruction kit. It basically lightly tells you what to do, but I've worked out now to properly use it so far. Additionally to this, you will also need a drill. A battery operated one just works wonders because you can maneuver it easily, but any drill will do because you need to maneuver this guy. Another microfiber cloth, a dry towel, and you will also need multi-purpose cleaner or soap, anything basically, because firstly you want to clean the headlights and make sure that the headlights are sparkly clean from any oils or silicone or those spray on shiny liquids and stuff. So you want to make sure it's perfectly clean from there. But yeah folks, without further ado, let's jump into it and let me show you how this works. Right folks, it looks clear but it's not. The camera is actually basically making this thing look clear, but it's not that clear. It's quite milky. As a matter of fact, if I have to compare it, that's clear. Right? Now looking at, yeah, this side you can see it's a bit milky. Now there was some, as you can see, it's slightly yellow over here. I did this before to make it look clear. Now that's the daytime running lights. Now those are basically, you can see there, that is properly yellow. So we're going to try and make it look like this today. Alright, let's get stuck in. Alright folks, got my little setup going here. First thing you want to do is clean off the headlights. Alright, now it might look like it's clean and maybe you have washed it, but depends on what type of detergent or washing material you used. You could have imparted some type of waxy layer or something like that, and you want to clean that off completely. So that's why I use a relatively strong multi-purpose cleaner, which I thinned out a little bit. You can use normal soap, sunlight liquid as well. doesn't really matter. You just need to clean it so that it's completely free of any type of how can I say, oily type of material. And if you don't, you'll find out very quickly, because these little pads, it's 1200 grit. It feels like there's almost nothing on it, and if there's lots of oily substance, stuff like that, it packs on here, and then it makes streaks, leaves streaks on the light. So the better you clean it here now, the better for you when you use your pads. Right, then after you've cleaned it, you dry it off completely, so it's bone dry. Then you take your masking tape and you run your masking tape all the way around the light. You want to make sure that when you do the sanding part of this, you do not want to touch the body of the vehicle, because you'll dull the surface. Right? Then after that, you start with the sanding. Now you attach your little pad like that, like so, right? And then you start working it, right? And the way you do it is use small circles, small refined circles, and you run over the whole surface of the light. Now, since I did mine last time, there's not that much yellow and how can I say, sun fading happening there, so I'm just going to run over it to make it very smooth, as smooth as I possibly can. Right, then after you've done that, after you've sanded down the light, then comes the polishing part. You use your drill with your polishing pad and your polishing liquid, and you just polish it. Now the essence of this is to try and avoid the headlight getting warm, right? So you want to work in the shade, and when you do the polishing part, you do a little bit of it, you wait for it to feel to the touch. If it's cooled down, then you can go it again, because remember, you basically, the polishing is the final part. The polish is basically like a paste, a sanding paste in a way, but it's so fine that when it polishes, it takes away all the little streaks, the minute streaks that this sanding paper leaves. Now you might think that it's 1200 grit, that there's not much. There's quite a lot, microscopically, as it were. So yeah, using the polish after that will then bring out the shine. So yeah folks, without further ado, let's get going. Alright folks, as you can see, you run it around neatly all around to make sure the body of the vehicle is isolated from what you're going to try and do now. Alright folks, so I went a different route. I taped this part first because I'm not planning on using a lot of material, cleaning, multi-purpose cleaner on this, because I don't want the body to get into contact with this stuff, because it's quite potent, so I don't want to mess with it. I'm just going to do a quick clean. Alright folks, now we cleaned up. Now let's start the sanding. Alright folks, so what you see me doing, I use this rag to just wipe off the excess powder. And I use the towel to clean off the the sanding paper. Now you can already see slightly there what's coming off. Now basically what you're doing when you're sanding is you're taking the top layer of the material away. You're sanding it away, because what's happening is it's not that the material itself is fully fading when the sun beats down on it. It's only the top layer that's basically starting to vulcanize in a way. So by using the sandpaper, you're sanding off that layer, you're taking that layer away, and what you're left with is the clean solid material. And then from there it's just elbow grease. That's all it is. Now one thing to bear in mind also, that the more dirtier or the more faded the light is, the longer you're going to sit and have to do this. You're probably going to run through a couple of these pads to get done with it. So you have to have that patience. You need to sand a little bit, clean it, wipe it, sand, clean, wipe, and so you go on from beginning to end. I'm telling you this because this is something I experienced. This is the most efficient way of doing this without killing too many of these pads, because in the beginning I went through the whole pack of them on one headlight, and that was stupid. And only afterwards I realized that if every now and then I wipe it on a towel that is quite rough like this, it actually takes those things away, and it doesn't pack onto a point where there's so much of it on there that you can't even remove it. So it's just wipe and sand the whole time. Folks, you also need to always move in circles. Do not be tempted to do this. If you do this, you're going to leave streaks and it will never come out. You need to go in circles all the time. Folks, you want to try and get it evenly. It must look the same shade of milky all the way around. Right, try and get in all those little corners. Look, the less contours your light has, like this one for instance, the easier it will be to do this. But the more it does, it just means a little bit more elbow grease. That's all it does. Alright, let's start the polishing. Alright, so folks, next up is this guy, your drill. Now what you can do with this, as you can see, this thing's nice and fluffy. It doesn't just get this way. You get it new, and it's nice and fluffy, and after you've used it, if you take it just like it is with the polishing fluid on there and you put it away, it'll become hard. So what I do is, after I finish polishing, after I've done the job, I take this little pad off. It's just Velcro on there, so that comes off like that, and then I take this pad and I soak it in hot water and I just play with it until it's nice and fluffy and loose again, and then you put it in the drill. You just spin it like that. You take a towel and you spin it in a towel, and it basically fluffens it up nicely again, and it's ready for its next use. Alright. Yeah folks, so now once again just make sure there's no residue left on top of this. Alright. Now we start the polishing situation. Now what I do is, let me get my handy chair. They say you must take this polish, put it on the brush, but I found that doesn't really work so lekker, because you don't spread the polish evenly. So what I do is I do this. You'll feel also this feels rough to the touch. Feels like there's sand in there, almost like, if that makes sense. So you just put a little layer of this stuff everywhere, like that. Make sure it gets everywhere. And don't take your time too long doing this. You need to make on, because basically this stuff will get dry. Alright, let's do it. Right folks, so now you take your very clean microfiber cloth and just wipe it down. Now I see here's a bit of a dull spot here, and here's a bit of a dull spot here. So I'm just going to take the polisher with the leftover residue that's on here, just give these two spots another polish. Right folks, so another thing I like to use is this guy, because of the quantity you get out of it, and anything that has to be rejuvenated in color or in fade, this guy does it, and that's why I love this stuff. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a layer of this stuff on there, and you'll see how it just all of a sudden pops. take the microfiber again, just wipe it down, get all that excess oil off, or silicone off. Right, take the masking tape off for the final reveal. Right folks, so this is what the right hand side one looks like. Looks clear enough, doesn't it? Now, look at this. Sparkling. Looks like a brand new light. This stuff is amazing. Look there, you can immediately see the difference between the two. Looks just as clear as this. Well, not 100%, but more or less. Right folks, so there you have it. Sparkling. It's basically just a copy and paste situation on the other side. Take your time. This is not going to be quick. As I said, the dirtier it is, or the more sun faded it is, or sun bleached as it were it is, the more longer it's going to take you. Try not to, if there's like, normally with lights that have a lot of sun fading, it's mostly the top part that turns yellow and then the bottom part is still clear. Don't try and take everything off at once. What you do is you go over it like I did. You want to try and do an even sanding. You want to sand from the one side all the way that way, and then come back and work it through, do an even sanding. And then when that is done, wipe it off, don't polish it, start over again. Start at the top, work all the way through the light. Because if you're going to take away more layers of plastic at the top than you do at the bottom, at the end of the day it'll probably crack. Because of different temperatures and stuff, and especially if it stands in the sun, that will happen. So preferably you want to take off evenly, even though it doesn't seem like there is any thing happening there. You want to sand it to make sure that it's clear. Right, and then from there folks, that is that. So yeah folks, there you have it. Thanks a lot for joining us. Really appreciate you popping in. Just a quick disclaimer, I'm not affiliated with Shield or anything. No one sponsored me this or gave me any of this. Just bought this out of my own pocket, and yeah, thought I'd share some knowledge with you. If you have some faded headlights, I know just by taking that off, it just makes the car look brand spanking new. If you're planning on selling your vehicle, or if you just bought a new vehicle and the headlights are a bit sun bleached, you know, for $250 you can make it look brand spanking new. So yeah folks, I hope this helped you a lot, and appreciate you popping in, and join us again tomorrow for another episode of What Will You Find Out, the Lockdown Edition. Till then, happy DIYing.